Alright, so this is a video on how to take out your idler and reseal your track tensioner from start to finish. So as you can see, I've already done this one here, just barely got that off. So I derailed this. I'm going to show you the easiest way to derail this. If you don't have a track press to be able to pop these master link in and out with, the easiest way to do it is you're going to loosen up this grease zerk. Right here you can see the pile of grease. There's a hole right here, the 3/4 inch wrench. You just crack it and loosen that grease zerk. It'll bleed off. Lift your track, go up in the air, and this track will get loose. You can take your bucket and push against that idler with your track on, and it'll push all that grease out. Now, once it's like that, you're gonna lift it up, and you can use another machine. That's how I used it with the backhoe, back end of a backhoe, and you can get and just start working this off. The key to this too is you gotta get this roller right here, your carrier roller, off of the track. And that one, you want to leave this on because this is already done. This is half of the work here, putting that back on. So that's all I'm going to do right there. Now I'm going to show you the process of getting this out. It's going to be fairly easy. I'm going to wrap my crane around the bottom end of these here with my service truck. And then I will use this skid steer and put a come along on it, and it'll just pull it right out. And you don't necessarily have to even lift it. You can pull it directly out from where it's at using a skid steer. You can grab onto it and yank it out. There is nothing holding that on. I'm going to get it out and then get it apart and get it broke down, and I'll show you that in just a minute here. Okay, so I got my crane to it, got a skid steer here. I come along, you can see it's just coming right out. There it is right there. So I'm going to get this up on this track. I'm going to place it up here. I'm going to show you what we do from now on. So now I got it out on my crane. I'm going to go ahead and lift it up. The lift points I like to lift from is triangulate it here and on the other side of this idler, and then back here on this track tensioner I'll put and it'll lift it square. I'm going to set it down up here on this with my crane still connected to it, and I'll show you to that point. I got it out. I've got my crane hooked up to it still, so if it falls it can't go anywhere. So I've got it all stationary. You see this right here is what we're resealing, and this is what I pulled out of it. So you can just grab it with your hand. It sits right here. You can just wiggle it out and work it out. It comes out fairly easy. I'm going to go put this on the shop table and I'll show you how this works right now. So this is your grease zerk. That grease zerk is what you back off. As you back it off, there's port reliefs in there that allow grease from that. Imagine like a hydraulic ram. This rod has a tube in there, and this hole drilled in the center runs all the way down through and has an L shape in there, and that's what fills up with grease. So as you pump up your track, it puts grease into the tube and allows that to expand. So when you got to take your track off, you loosen it, and as you put pressure under this or you raise it up, there's so much pressure on your track, it'll actually just push that grease back down through that port and out this little relief port. And so fairly simple. I'm going to change this. I advise changing the grease zerk on these for this idler tensioner with all these sills. And so I'm going to go get that changed and show you. They're fairly easy. How easy. There's a little snap ring on here you undo, and I'll show you how to do that. And then we'll come back out here. There's a snap ring right here you got to take out. It's an internal snap ring. So you pop that out, you're going to take off this dust seal. And then there is also in here a wear bearing right here that you can change. I'm not going to change them, they look fine. I'm just going to do the seals. So I'll show you also how I remove that. Okay, so on this grease piston, got it here. Here's the snap rings. It's very easy to take off. They just sit right here. So this all comes as one unit. That should come off here. Okay. So I'll work that back and forth. Okay, there it comes. Okay, there's your sill. And here's your backing for the sill. If this goes bad, it will lose grease as well. So I got new ones sitting here. These are your wear bands. There, you got 2 of them, and that's it. There's not much to this thing. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up. Now, another thing to look at too is on these shafts, sometimes you'll get rust pits where rocks have dented them and dinged them. You can kind of see them right there. I'll take just a little emery cloth and polish that smooth so it doesn't wipe out the wiper seal or the dust seal. And that keeps all your grease. You can kind of see some right there. That keeps all your dust out so that it doesn't come and mess up in any of these seals in here. So take a little emery cloth and kind of polish this off, especially where it's got some dings and rust on it. Like I said, I'm going to clean this out. Don't worry about cleaning out the grease, because when you get ready to push this in, I'll show you. I'm going to remove this zerk. I'm going to keep it out until I push this rod back into that tube, because it's going to force air through here and it'll actually spit the grease back out of this. So I'm going to leave this off and take all this out until I have this back into the track tensioner, and then I'll put the new zerk in. The new zerks look like this right here. Alright, so that's the new zerk, and that's going to go in there. Make sure not to cross thread them. And okay, I'll get this going, and then the next one I'll show you how to pull out the wiper seal on the tube.